So I can't believe that I'm sharing this on a YouTube video, but a few months ago, I made a small decision that felt almost insignificant, but it changed how I think about everything. For years, I listened to most of my books on Audible at 1.5, sometimes 1.75, and if I was really ambitious, at 2x speed. And at the time, it made perfect sense. I thought if I have limited time, I should maximize how much I can consume, more books, more ideas, more input. And in many ways, it kind of worked. I learned a lot, but something subtle also started to happen. I noticed that I was finishing books, but not really absorbing them. I was moving quickly, but not necessarily thinking deeply. And over the last year, especially with how fast everything is moving, AI, short form content, constant notifications, I started asking a different question. What if the real skill now isn't speed? What if it's the ability to slow down and stay with something? So I tried an experiment. I went back to listening at 1x speed. Maybe if I'm really ambitious, I'll get to like half speed. But I'll be honest, at first, it's felt painfully slow, almost uncomfortable. Like my brain had to be trained to expect constant stimulation, and now it didn't know what to do with the space. But then something shifted. I started noticing something I would have missed before, a sentence that lingered, an idea that stayed with me longer than a few seconds, that connected to something else that I was thinking about. Moments where I actually paused and I thought, and it made me realize something a lot deeper. We've been trained to confuse speed with progress. We live in this culture that a lot of people call hustle culture. Slow often feels like falling behind, not doing enough, wasting time. But what if it's not true? What if slow isn't stuck? What if instead it's sacred? Because the ability to focus deeply, think clearly, and stay present with something is becoming increasingly rare, and anything rare becomes valuable. There's a quiet cost to always speeding up. You lose depth, reflection, integration. You consume more, but you become less of what you're consuming. And I think many of us, especially quiet builders, feel this tension. We don't want to live on the content treadmill. We don't want to constantly optimize for output. But we've internalized this belief that if we slow down, we will fall behind. But behind what? And for who? Some of the most thoughtful people that I know, they don't move particularly fast. They move deliberately. They read slowly. They think deeply. They make decisions with space. And because of that, they build things that last. So for me, slowing down hasn't meant doing less. It's meant doing things more fully, listening but not hearing, reading, not just finishing, working, not just producing. And here's the weird paradox in all of this that I found. When you slow down enough to think clearly, you often make better decisions, and better decisions compound more than speed ever will. So, if you've ever been feeling this tension, this quiet pull to slow down, but also this fear of falling behind, I just want to offer you this. Maybe slow isn't the problem. Maybe slow is the path, a path to deeper thinking, better work, and a life that actually feels like your own. If this way of thinking resonates, I would love for you to consider subscribing to the Quiet Builder channel. This is where I share a lot of reflections on building quietly, thinking clearly, creating a life that isn't driven by noise. And if you want deeper reflections like this twice a month, you can check out the Quiet Builder newsletter, which is over at quietbuilder.com.